I would love to tell you my experience with the Dynamic Neural Retraining System, also known as DNRS. So I will leave the link in the description below, and I think that you're going to hear a lot of people who had COVID doing this system and talking about their experiences, and I'm happy to be among those to tell you it is legit. Okay, so before I had COVID, I have Lyme disease. I also have multiple chemical sensitivities. I am MTHFR, the double one, the homozygous. I have hypermobility syndrome, also classically known as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobile, and there's other things. Oh, chronic Epstein-Barr virus, whatever. Like, you stop counting after 3. So there were things. I was spinning a lot of plates to make sure that I could have a high performance life and do all the things that I wanted to do. And then when COVID happened, of course, the rug gets pulled out from under your feet, and you survive the flu, you get past that. And I started to get better, but not much better. And I felt so tired. I knew like 6 weeks, 8 weeks after getting that flu that something was really wrong, because I was not getting better like at all. Usually if I get really sick, I will incrementally get better, and it takes weeks, sometimes months. I had a terrible flu in 2017, and it took a season to restore myself, but I was almost at the end of a season and not much was changing. I went to my doctor and I said, something's wrong, we have to do blood work. We did $450 worth of blood work. We got everything done. I had to go in for an MRI because my symptoms were pretty serious enough that we were double checking that I didn't have MS. I had a sore throat here for 6 weeks, and it felt like somebody was pushing in on my throat. I know what all this is now, but I'm just telling you where I was at the time. And then my doctor had said, you need to try brain retraining. And I was like, what? Like, why would you be talking to me about my brain? She was right. I was looking at things, blood work, what supplement, what macronutrient, micronutrient, where am I missing something? And, my body's just not healing. But she recognized a maladapted stress response in my limbic system. And it was my body just going through that fight, flight, like survival mode, and experiencing this cascade of unwell, whatever that looks like for people. And she recognized that, and she's like, you need to try this, and it will not change you genetically, but what it will do is stop your brain from overreacting to simple triggers that, yes, they're a problem, but for you they're such a problem, like it's multiplied, and it's really setting off everything in your body, and then you just keep looping around. So genetically, I am still hypermobile. Genetically, I still have MTHFR. But the key was to get my brain to stop reacting to the chemical, to the food, to the winter storm that would come, and then not experience like the extreme pain and then the fight or flight survival situation that I'd be in. So I will do she's brilliant, so I will do whatever she tells me to. I looked into it and I was like, I have never heard of brain retraining. I need to really peel back some layers. And I understood who Annie Hopper was. I watched some of her speeches that were on YouTube. I thought, wow, she's a really good presenter. I would like to learn more about this. What else is out there that's very similar? Because I don't like coming up with other people's copy of a copy of a copy, and then they've taken this one original idea and diluted it. So I wanted to make sure she was not that. She's not that. So I looked into something else that starts with a G, and I was like, not for me. Definitely not for me. And then there was another clinic that treated autoimmune people, and the guy who ran the clinic, he said, yeah, I've taken some stuff from Annie Hopper, and I've taken some stuff from Rosenberg, and I've taken some stuff from blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want that recipe either. I want the OG goodness. And I was already doing vagus nerve conditioning before I started doing brain training. So that was really helpful for me because I have neural tension on this side of my body. When you've had Lyme and it's in the late stages of Lyme disease, it shows up neurologically. And so I had already been, working on things for the hypothalamus and the amygdala and all these other things that are just like, oh my gosh, the science goes down several levels when you start looking into this stuff. So I was already doing the vagus nerve training, and I thought, why not add this brain training to it, and I'll see what this is about. So in Annie Hopper's program, the first few hours, you're learning why this is going to work for you. You don't get the instructions right away, which is a good thing, because you have to understand what you're doing when you're doing it. That was key for me. Otherwise, you're just going through the motions and you're not really invested, and it's all an experiment, and maybe it'll work and maybe it won't work. But if your brain is the same as mine. We have the same parts in our brain. So Annie spent time putting things together, and she has videos on there that have other experts talking about the science of this down to the cellular and neuro pathway level of retraining your brain. Once I stopped reacting to the chemicals and the foods at this hyper level that I had never experienced before, I didn't have the inflammation cascade that would happen in my body. So the hypermobile joints didn't hurt so much. You know what I'm saying? So then your brain doesn't go into that, what's going on? There's something going on. I have to survive this. And because it just makes you crazy. Like it boosts your anxiety. At the end of the day, you're so tired because your body has gone through all of this stuff. Based on what the brain was telling it, and you're busy in your life, and you don't have time for this other stuff, and it's just crazy, to keep experiencing the ill effects of maladapted limbic stress responses. So getting this down and making room for this in my life was everything. I am in my 4th month. It's been a world of difference. The first 2 weeks I did this program, I noticed I definitely had more joy. I was able to work longer on the computer. At that time, the screen was bothering me and the scrolling was bothering me, which is something I've experienced before with the neurological Lyme disease. But I was able to put more hours in the day, and I was like, ooh, look at me getting stuff done. And then I was a little bit more on top of it. So my memory was working really well. I didn't have to write everything down. If somebody asked me to do something, I'd be like, oh yeah, and another thing, we need to get that. And it was just like, instead of having this brain fog for months, which was where I existed, I was able to kind of be like how it was before COVID, where I was just on top of my game and running all these projects and not having any trouble keeping up. So I continue with the program, and as it gets a little deeper and you're working on it, throughout the day, I would do 3 20-minute sessions, and I've done 4 15-minute sessions, and some busy days I've done 3 15-minute sessions because I can't get that 4th one in. But there were some times where I would literally feel like this knot unthawing in my brain. It'd be like this, and then it would just like start to open up and get warm. One time, this is crazy, I went out to play cards with my husband and I forgot to shuffle cards. I forgot how. I have grown up with cards. I'm in my mid-40s. I know how to shuffle cards, but like after this brain training, it just like remodeled something old. I don't know what happened, but it took me a couple minutes to like actually get that back. I've had vision changes in my left eye. Usually it's blurry vision over here, which is part of the Lyme issue too. And the vision has improved, So again, I had things going on before COVID. I get it. But even if I never had COVID and if somebody told me to do DNRS to make all this other stuff better, I would still be doing really well. But at the end of 2 months, all of my COVID long haul was gone. Everything. This thing was my thyroid, the sore throat, and it feels like a finger is pushing in on your throat. That was my thyroid struggling. So now I have Hashimoto's. Thanks, COVID. But it's under control. It's under control, and I'm able to manage. My pain went away completely, that's not usual for somebody with Lyme disease. I still get really sore, especially if I overdo things, but it's not like waking up and being in pain for no reason, so that's great. And I can eat a lot better now. I don't react to as many foods. If somebody stands next to me and they have perfume or cologne on, I'm not dying to get away from them. It's okay. Everything is manageable. So pain, chemical sensitivities, cognition abilities, memory, all those things improved. Definitely joy. I think your body just feels more joy if you don't have to suffer through the ill effects of whatever you have going on. I think that's it. So this is a definite yes. Try the program DNRS, and I wish you the best